COVID-19, that's the main feature of 2020, and we see very interesting factors of that. First of all, probably the Polish export grew even faster than in 2020. Which remember that 2019 our export was $264 billion of dollars. That was a quarter of economy, a huge amount of Polish export. Polish economy is directed to export, and this 2020 may be even bigger. To comment on the situation of Poland, I'll ask Mr. Artur Wróblewski of Lazarski University. Sir, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'd like to start from Peter Zeihan. That's American economist who is forecasting the world economy, and he shows that Poland has a single biggest export comparing to GDP in the world. That's enormous. Almost 30% of Polish GDP is export. So is it good because we get money, we got our customers, or is it makes us vulnerable for any future imbalances in the world's trade?
A coronavirus situation, the crisis we are getting through still, showed one important lesson, that these countries are strong, which are immune to crises, which are immune to the situation like pandemia. Which countries are immune to this situation? Those countries which are self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency means that you cannot rely only on export to develop, to grow, to make money. You need to have everything, including the rare natural resources. And in these terms, we are not immune to crises because we are relying on export. We are happy because in October, for example, our export was like 23 billion dollars. Which is quite important data because it's bigger and better than export in October of 2019. So we are growing in terms of, for example, exporting goods. But for example, if we look into data relating to services, the export of Polish services was 5% lower than in comparison in 2019. But of course, this is also important that services should be strong in this Polish portfolio. But because services, export of services, is to some extent a mark of development, of to some extent civilizational and economic strength of the country. But we are still very much very good in producing goods because we have still cheaper labor force than countries in the west of Europe. But unfortunately, we are not that competitive in terms of offering services. That's why Germans are taking advantage of us, because we are still the market of cheaper labor, and we are still the market which is undergoing brain drainage. Because, for example, in Germany, right now when we are speaking, when we are talking, there is 2,200 Polish doctors offering services in Germany, working in Germany, and they were educated in Poland free of tuition, but unfortunately we lost these people. So to some extent we have systemic problems with our economy, but without this education, without sponsoring good university in Poland, maybe creating something new, like special place for research, resembling that Institute of Weizmann in Israel, for example, without these decisions, we will not overcome the middle income trap, and we will not overcome this weakness of Polish economy, which is lack of immunity to crises. But also the second lesson coming from the pandemic is the importance of having intervention and strong government and intervention of strong government in economy in situations which are critical. And the crisis was a critical situation, and I think that the government did quite good job intervening and helping Polish businessmen.
So there are good sides and the weak sides, and we should work with the people and institutions involved in this weak side to make it better. Dr. Artur Wróblewski of Lazarski University, sir, thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you for inviting me
And that
tonight.
was it for Poland Daily Business tonight. Tomorrow we'll be back at the same time, so please join us.